Hello, I hope your family and friends are well. So you've already heard one audio example. I'm only using one audio example for this, and the guitar I'm using is the guitar I used the other day, which is the copper one, which is an Ibanez guitar, and I'm using the second position on the 5-way selector, which gives you a Fender glass sort of sound, which is really nice. This patch was used in a lot of our ballads. So for example, T. Sophia's Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Spandau Ballet Gold. You can use this on Scar. The Assign has two switch dates, and they're slightly different, because what I'll do to switch date is I'll knock for the one of the switch dates, I'll knock the selector, 5-way selector back and use the humbucker pickup, which gives you a bit more deep, a bit more of a boost or more of a power, because I'm using the humbucker. And then with the ballady stuff and the delays, what I'll do, I'll use the other switch date. We'll go over that in a minute actually. So I want to try and do this as quick as possible, because I don't want my patches to be more than sort of 8 minutes, to be honest. So we'll get cracking on with this. So there we go, the volume setting. Our first effect is a dynamic compressor. Just using this preset. Roland amp with a custom preset. Originally when I used this live, I did use the Ibanez blue guitar, which is 2 humbuckers. I always get the Q54 and Q52 mixed up, and it worked great. I used to take both of them with us, but mostly used the copper one, to be honest. I thought it was the nicest sound on one, but the blue one was the backup, and every now and again I just swatched them, and you could swap them over. When he came to the second set, which was probably more rock relatable 80s songs, we were just using I was using the blue one. When it came to sort of the ballads and stuff, I would always use the copper, and it sounded great, sounded really good with the second position in the 5-way selector. And it just sounded great. Really does sound good. So that's our settings for the amp. I mean, you can use an orange one for this, or an elf, Tracy Elliott elf amp, which is great as well for cleans. Next effect is a boost, another custom preset. Next effect is equalization, which is the 10 frequency equalization effect. The settings we've used for that. Next effect is a chorus. Digital flanger. This is quite a nice effect actually. You don't have to use this one, but I added it in, and it sounds alright, sounds quite nice. Next effect is a chorus. Next one is, you see it's switched off, is digital delay. And then the settings use digital delay, output block and input block. And what we'll do is we'll pop over to the switch state now, or the assigns. We're using the switch states. Now you can see at the moment I'm using the purple one. So what we'll do is we'll jump into the edit. As you can see, we're using the second switch state. Digital flanger is always on, so that's no change. For example, as you can see, delay is off. Now if I press the button on the Headrush core, you'll see that change. And that's jumped onto the green one. So we cancel that. So as you can see, there is the other switch state. It's using delay. Everything's on, but I'm just using the delay. Go back over there. So for example, press the button again, it'll jump back over to purple. Click on edit, and then that shows us our second switch state, or first switch state, or whatever we want to use it for. It sounds great, really does. This is a nice patch if you just want to play clean. This works really well. What I will actually show you though is I did play about with this once, and let's just say, for example, let's cancel that. You've got a humbucker guitar, and you want that 80s sound, you want the 80s glass sound. What I found by doing is you can do this. Now there's no wrong way and no right way of doing this, but what you can do is you pop over to there, click on the EQ, and what we're going to do is we're going to add the bass EQ, choose the elastic setting. Okay, you put this before and after the amp, it's really up to you. And next what we'll do is go back to EQ again, pop on that, click on piezo, boom. That works really well for a humbucker guitar. Again, you know, you can put the equalization after the amp and the acoustic sim before the amp, or whatever. It's up to you. What I'm going to say is what I've found is that if you're playing live, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, if you're playing in a pub and it's going to be loud, you're not going to get any perfectionists that are going to come up and say, oh, the EQ is wrong and that and so on and so on. Because believe me, that when you're playing in a pub and you've got a lot of drunk people, nobody really cares about your tone, to be honest. However, when you're playing in a theatre or a club, it's slightly different, because you've got a lot of things that are mic'd or EQ'd, and you've got a good mixing engineer. We had a pretty good chat with those, and they used to mix us really, really well. You can tell the difference. But all that goes out the windows when people start drinking, so it doesn't really matter. But there isn't a wrong way or right way of doing this. It's whatever way you think sounds better for you. You could put that after the amp or before the amp or whatever. It's direct up to you. So it's a matter of trial and error, to be honest. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for everyone subscribing. I'll create some more soon. I've got one more to do this week, and that'll be it. For a wee while, I think. And yeah, fantastic week. And I'll create some more soon. So bye bye for now.